What's up, y'all? If you and I haven't met, my name is Rico Gonzalez, and you're watching CCP Podcast.
What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome back to Beyond the Bell Season 2. This is episode number 4. I am Chris Page. That man is John Cable. What is happening, dude? How are you, sir?
I mean, we're here. We've got another very, very interesting conversation to have, and I'm filming again from remote locations. So it's been an enjoyable season so far, and I cannot wait to get another one of these in the books.
You are remote locationing it like it's going out of style. Do you know that?
I am. Yeah, that's true.
Listen, we got a good one today. I feel like this is going to be a pretty powerful conversation. I really, really enjoy being able to sit down and chat and discuss all things professional wrestling with a variety of people across the globe. This has been a tremendous ride. It's been a lot of fun. We've got our guest today. Actually, we don't have one. John, we've got two. We've got two.
It is a first.
We are calling in our first tag team. Listen, they're coming to us from the great state of Georgia. We have had a lot of fun getting to know a lot of the talent on the Georgia scene in the Atlanta and the Macon area. This should be no exception. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We have got none other than Edward Draven, and we have got his tag team partner, the hot boy himself, Mr. Kaizen. How are you two gentlemen doing today?
We feeling
good.
hot, feeling hot,
Very hot, feeling flawless, feeling hot, and all that.
It's a beautiful day. First of all, we appreciate your time for coming in to chit chat with us. We know, just as well as anybody else, time is valuable. There's a lot of things that you could be doing, and we are ecstatic that you guys have elected to sit down and chat with us for a little bit about professional wrestling. How's things going up in Georgia?
Flawless. We're over here killing it.
motion.
Trying to make it better than where we found it. Trying to elevate always, trying to make it better.
I hear you.
Flawlessly.
We just preheating the oven right now. It's at 350, so we about to crank it up a notch.
See, that's how you're getting
Thanksgiving is
hot
next
up
week,
in
so
here.
we got to turn it up a little more.
That's right. That's right.
John, welcome, Mr. Draven and Mr. Kaizen.
Well, Draven, it's nice to have you back. I'm glad to see you again. Kaizen, nice to meet you, and glad to have you both on the show. You guys are a first for us. We're getting our very first tag team in, and Paige and I are both very, very adamant tag team fans. It's like the heart blood of wrestling for us, and we are well aware that any company that has a healthy tag division has a healthy roster. So seeing tag teams is a joy to us, and having one finally on the show. Perfect.
Thank you. So good to be here.
We are breaking the mold today, and I cannot wait. Breaking it in style is exactly the way we're going to do it today. We are kicking things off, and I want to start, the same way we kind of start all of our shows, and it's kind of just, feeling you guys out and letting you guys feel us out. I know that both of you are young. Like, you're breaking into the business. You've both been active for the last couple of years. PCW seems to be the ground of choice for Atlanta. I'm not mad at you on that one because I've seen several of the shows and the tremendous talent that's attached to it. What for both of you collectively? Edward, I'll start with you first, and then we'll come over to you, hot boy. When did you get bit by the wrestling bug? What made you say, this is what I want to do? I want to try it.
I've been telling people since I was like 4 years old that I was going to be a wrestler. I used to get in trouble at Catholic school. Like, I used to get detention for telling like the nuns that I wanted to be a wrestler. And I told my mom, I was like, I'm going to be a wrestler. She's like, yeah, whatever. So I look up how to become a wrestler on like Google Wiki at the time. Wasn't that what it was? It's like, take acting classes. And I'm like, no, I gotta take acting classes. And I did that for so long. Then when I finally turned 19, my mom was like, what do you want for your birthday? And she got me my first wrestling training membership at the WWA4. I've been ever since.
WWA4 is something I'm very familiar with. What about you, Hot Boy? Where did your journey start? I know on your side of the coin it started with grandparents, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I was at my grandma's house one day. I grew up in a big family, and all my cousins were like playing in the living room. I will never forget. I was like 6 years old, so I seen my uncle and auntie watching wrestling. So me as a kid, I'm like, I sat down between them, like, what are y'all watching? So they was kind of explaining to me like, this is the heel, this is the face, this is how they determine the mechanics behind the scene. And like when I seen RVD, it was over with.
Hmm.
I wanted to be a wrestler like instantly. So mama, she put me in martial arts. So I kind of been in martial arts since I was 7 years old. Um, I transitioned from martial arts to pro wrestling in April of 2023.
Don't you have
And
some
then,
martial arts accolades?
yes, two-time jiu-jitsu
Uh
champion,
huh.
jiu-jitsu world
Listen, yeah,
champion.
no,
And for
listen.
not just champion, but isn't that
Two
what
times.
level title is that?
So one is world
Mhm.
IBJJF, and then the second one is AGF, so American Grappling Federation
That's right.
Right,
in New
right,
Orleans.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
not just your local gym stuff. That's
No,
legit title
Let's
stuff.
let's
That's
not
that's
yeah.
let's not
legit.
downplay that. Like it's not a big deal by any means. So basically, guys, for what you're
Like,
hearing right now, if you catch Hot Boy in a locker room, don't fuck with him because he could probably legitimately
Yeah,
kick
that's
the
the
dog shit
mistake.
out of you.
That's the corner.
That's
That's where that
that's
corner's
that
at
corner.
right
Fuck
there.
around and find
we don't call
out.
him Hot Boy for no reason.
Yeah.
That flame like so quick.
So like in 2000, when did I move out here? Like 20, like early 23. I had to move from Louisiana because we didn't have many opportunities for pro wrestling out there. So I kind of moved to Georgia and used to come see Edward wrestle at the four, and it was up from then. It was up from there. I knew I had to get in the ring.
Well, we have
It's crazy because there was like 7 of us.
we have a pretty good pretty good relationship with WWA4. Several people we've spoken to have come out of there. That seems to be a destination spot in Georgia, and for very good reason. I mean, you've got AR Fox as your trainer. So, give me a little bit about that. What was training like with AR Fox?
It was very. I was so out of shape when I first started wrestling. First of
Aren't we
all,
all?
like it was
Listen,
a
listen. Don't
pandemic.
be
It was
too hard
right
on
out of the
yourself.
pandemic.
Don't be too hard on yourself about that. Everybody thinks that they're in great shape until they start hitting the ropes and doing
Oh
bump
my
I
class,
God.
and
was
then
like,
you
oh
know
god.
how far
And
you're not in shape.
the WWA4 great conditioning. Like literally, like that was some good conditioning. I was a good 275 when I first started.
Yeah,
So I was
you shit it off. You
yeah,
shit it off.
and that was very rigorous training. The cardio aspect, I was just like, oh my god, I didn't know what it took. Bumping and just throwing myself. I was a theater kid. Like you're not hitting me. First of all,
Well, if you think about it, an average street fight lasts less than 5 minutes. You don't need a whole lot of cardio, and you still see guys on the internet gassed out in 5 minutes. Man, we're
yeah,
talking about a wrestling match, 20, 30, 40 an hour. Nah, man, you need to be
right.
ready to
When
go.
I was gassed as soon as we locked up. Look, I was like, hold on, sister, we're doing a lot right now.
Yeah,
Headlock,
no,
wait.
cardio
And
is number one for sure. So that's good to hear.
I was not. I feel like I wasn't ready to start wrestling at that time. I was like 3 months
Nobody
in.
is.
I was 3 months in, and then I started to wrestle matches. I tried. I look back and I'm like, oh my god, this is absolutely terrible. But the crowd has to see me get better. To start from like absolutely nothing to coming in and being in a group and then going my own way, they got to see me evolve.
And I feel like
Like
having that theater background is a big advantage too, because I do have a theater background also.
like
So,
bitch,
You are
can't
you are
duck
not the
and can't
first
talk.
person. You are not the first person you've interviewed to talk about having a theater background,
Yeah.
and it is a transitionary industry for sure. There are many industries that transition well into wrestling, but theater backgrounds seem to be one of those ones that is a commonality.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it definitely saved me because I didn't know much. I knew how to entertain people. I knew how to get like just anything I wanted you to react to. I could do that because I
Well,
was used to freaking the
that's one
crowd.
of the
And pro
hardest things
wrestling
to
is
learn.
telling a story, so
And that was something that came so natural to me that I didn't even like know it was such a big thing. I didn't know it was like a big thing. I was just like, oh, I watched people do this, so it was normal to replicate it in my own way because I'm very big on not like I have a lot of inspirations, but I don't like to take so much from wrestling because then you become something we've already seen, and everything is not cute twice. Everything isn't cute twice. It's like wearing an outfit twice to a wedding.
Mhm.
Like you wear it to somebody else's wedding, and then you wear it again. Or it's like when you get a divorce and then you wear the same outfit. Like,
No, I get it. I get it 100%.
not fun. It's not hot.
But I have a favorite suit. Come on.
It's
Oh my God.
Isn't it pink? Is it the pink suit?
You gotta
It
add a
is.
It is the
rhinestone.
pink
It is my pink suit.
You gotta add some flair to it.
A little
I mean,
rhinestone.
I do,
right there.
but my pink suit is fire, bro. Like, it's on.
Haha, no pun intended.
But I did feel like that, like the theater aspect does help so much because you get to connect with the audience. Like I've been through, I was in a trio, I was in a tag group, and even though it didn't work out, I never felt scared because I knew whenever I went out there, I could get those people to scream. So that kind of like helped me push forward.
Well, it's an organic growth. Like you just mentioned it a minute ago. Like you know, right? Like at some point in anybody's career, you're in the ring and you know it clicks. It doesn't click instantly. It's not something that happens in your first match. And I can with some people. It didn't with me. It took me.
Definitely not me.
I mean, you're talking 6 months to a year on my side of the coin before it clicked, and I remember when it clicked for me. I remember where I was at. I remember the city it was in. I remember how many fans were in attendance, and it hit me. I can fucking do this. I can make. This is. It's more than just something that I'm fucking around with. So my question for both of you guys: when did it click for you? When did you realize, or has it? You know, it's something you're so young. Your careers are so young. You may not have clicked just yet for you guys to be like, all right. If it has, what was that moment like? Where were you at? What was the situation and the surrounding?
I honestly, it did not click for me until I came here. I didn't know what I was doing. I feel like when I first started wrestling, I was more focused on, oh, how do I get to the WWE? How do I become famous? Rather than when I came to PCW, I was focused on how do I become a better wrestler? How can I tell a better story? And I feel like once I got to have my match with him at one of the CCP shows, I was like, oh crap, like they're really into this.
Oh my God.
That's
what
what
lit the
I
fire. That's
like,
what lit
okay,
the fire. In March.
I was like, there, I can do this. And now I feel like it's really clicking a lot more now. When I won my first title, I was like, okay, this is something I should do for a very long time.
So I'll say around March when we had our
Yeah.
CCDL against each other. Oh my God. Like
that
it
was-
lit the
It was
crowd.
collective then. It was together. You had that moment together. You were able to share that.
And I feel like it was the perfect balance of not only just character work, but also like the in-ring physicality. I feel like it was just a perfect balance.
Sure. I actually
Yeah,
think
those are
it's-
both very big parts.
I think it's pretty badass that you guys had that moment and shared that moment together in the ring, right? Like you don't get many of those opportunities, and that's one that's, you know, for my career when I was in the ring, like that was my defining moment. I know that I can do this, and then I went on and had a successful 4 or 5 year run in Alabama that realistically I probably would still be in the industry if injuries didn't take me out. This is way before CTE was a thing, and doing some pretty stupid spots that you should probably not do. It just changes the complexion. But when it does click, going back to that, when it does click and you do realize, hey, I got this. This is now it's time
I was
to go.
born to do this.
It's over for you bitches now.
Well, how did you guys cross paths? Like, how did the between your in-ring work as opponents to meshing together now as a team? What's that look like? How does that come together?
It happened so like naturally.
It
Like
happened.
we have so much good chemistry, and I know that PCW was like looking to elevate their tag division, and then
We met back 2022,
2022.
2020 at the WWA4, and we just clicked instantly. It was actually supposed to be like 7 of us together wrestling. It just happened, like the cards just aligned for it just to be us. And we also we always kept in contact. But when he came back to Georgia, I was not mentally feeling wrestling. I was at a point where I was like, I don't know, this is like a lot. It was a lot more than what I realized that I wanted at that time. And I just needed to take a step back. Like I stopped wrestling for a bit. And he came back, and I promised him that I would train with him. And I was like, all right. But then as soon as we trained together, I was like, okay.
It was over with. The chemistry was like
I was like,
there. Like I was like, okay.
So essentially, without Hot Boy, we don't have a Draven right now. We don't have the guy that
yes.
slapped
Edward Draven was ready to go back to Hollywood.
Vice. I'm glad I did have him to help me the things in like professional wrestling, what goes on behind the scenes, and how to maneuver in professional wrestling because it is it's a
I mean,
place.
let's be fair. It depends on where you're at. Where you're at, it can be very political. It can be very dicey. But it's that nature will never change in professional wrestling. Like you will always have some of that. I feel like I just don't see that changing anytime soon. What always
Yeah.
drove me was three things, and I used this formula for such a long time. Did I get a reaction? Did my opponent get a reaction? Did my match get a reaction? If the answers to those questions are yes, look at you throwing off some fireworks in the background. If
That's what it sounds like every time we wrestle.
Exactly.
if the answer to that's yes, then you have done your job. You can't ask for anything better. And truthfully, with those that play the games and try to do and manipulate and what have you, it sucks that it's out there. But it's if you know what you're looking for, you can see through all that, and you can see where the talent's at, and that's the beautiful
Exactly.
thing about our platform. We really dive into independence, and we watch a lot of independent wrestling because, with all due respect to the WWE and AEW, I've seen that. I need to see where professional wrestling is going next. That's you guys. That's the younger generation. I need to see that. Where do I see that? Because I need to know that the industry that I love and that I gave a little bit to and continue to give to is going to be in good hands. And where we're at right now, professional wrestling on the independent scene, it's booming everywhere. We were talking a little bit.
I was
We were talking a little bit before we went on air, just about how the nature of the business is so different. And now it's very eerily similar to the old territory days where everywhere's popping. Everywhere. Gates
I
are.
was literally going to ask you, like from do you see there's a big difference from like back then to now? Because I was watching an interview, I think with Mercedes, and they asked her like, what's the difference between the like generation back then and now? She's like, everybody wants to be a wrestler now. Like it's booming. Wrestling business is booming. Everyone wants to be a wrestler. It's like in high
Well,
demand right now.
so you guys came through A4. When you guys were in A4 and around them, you would see, however many kids would come in to start the class. You might see a lot of them finish the training. When we were in, we might only see 1 out of 20 even finish, if that.
My class started with 14. We ended with 2. Me and one other.
And now that ratio is completely inverted. You get so many students to a class, and a lot of them already not only know what to expect, but are ready to do the work and have already put thought into it and have a ground level basic understanding of what they're doing. Whereas when we started, man, you never knew what you were getting into.
Oh.
It depended on the promoter, it depended on the training, it depended on the talent and the roster. Like it was.
Here's your case in point. Right now in Atlanta, in the Atlanta metro area, you probably have 10, 12, 15 schools within the whole area, and that's probably a low number.
Where?
I had 1.
I think the schools, yes.
I had 1 to train at when I was training in Alabama. You didn't have options.
Yeah, and I'm here in Jacksonville. We only had 1, and now there might only be 3 or 4.
But
for a city the size of Jacksonville, like it's crazy.
And
like I said, that demand is definitely there now in the wrestling, and I love it.
I think the biggest difference for me between then versus now, when you look at everything as a whole, there's a lot more opportunity out there today than what there was back in my day. Again, like I say, we had 1 training school, versus being able to look up and research 15 to 20. You guys, I'll use you guys as an example here. Is like you're at WWA4 to start with, and now you've come over
Uh-huh.
to PCW. Your training's never stopped.
Yeah,
You're
no.
now you're learning under new other people. So you're taking what you got over here, right? Which is AR Fox is nothing to fucking sneeze at, guys. The guy, he's producing stars. Like let's be
Yeah,
fair.
yeah, yeah.
And
Facts.
friend of the social media. I appreciate Mr. Fox. That you also now you're going over here and you're learning from guys like Naja and in ERC and the guys that are doing the training over there. And eventually, if you're not already doing it, you're going to be the guys that'll be in there actually training these guys. You know what I mean? And you can now take what you learn from here, if you choose to, and shoot down to Deep South Wrestling
Yeah.
and train with it. So there's more opportunity to grow if you choose to. But a lot of people will try and get into the business because it's the cool thing to do. Versus trying to be in the business and make a living out of it.
I think one of the biggest things we was taught to be a sponge, always be a sponge and absorb as much information as you could from like these vets and like just trainers that have been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like honestly the WWA4 got me comfortable performing in front of the fans, and also as well as keeping the intensity. But I feel like at Platinum, I'm having more storylines that I feel more creatively inclined to. I feel like also being out of my former group, I got to enjoy and find who I was by myself and like start there first. I completely went into Platinum Championship Wrestling like I don't know a thing. Just teach me from the ground up because I didn't want to get into the habit of doing stuff that I did before. I was trying to learn every way.
Mhm.
And also us training with Elemento
Yes.
for Lucha, also learning Lucha.
Oh my God.
We've been taking and being sponges from him too. So it's been kind of fun to figure out what works and bits of pieces, all these great people, and just put it together and just make something great.
Well, that's the mentality you should have. Is learn
Mhm.
as much as you can, why you can, and wrestling is just like anything else. It's like any other real job. Like you learn every day. You're going to learn something new if you open your mind to it and you get in there with the mentality of what can I learn today.
It's your canvas, it's your art. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That
Absolutely.
part.
John, let me come over to you because you usually ask a lot of really good questions, and I'm pretty sure you got several in that little brain of yours. Just
I
talking to
do. I
me.
got a bunch of them rolling around. I guess for both of you guys individually, as you go through these different training schools and you're under different learning trees, under different people with different mentalities and different philosophies, right? What for each of you was the hardest thing for you to understand getting into the business and learning from different places? Like maybe you didn't even know that that was part of the business, or it didn't dawn on you that this was a thing you'd have to deal with, or what was the thing that kind of surprised you in all of these places that you've been training? What was the aspect of the industry of wrestling that kind of came out of the blue?
Honestly, I would say the bumping and the physicality, it got easier, but I feel like the psychology of wrestling is just something I'm always like fascinated about because I couldn't get it for the life of me when I first started. And Fox told me, he was like, "You're not going to get it right now. One day, 5 years down the road, you're going to be like, oh, that's what he meant." And so I
Hmm.
find myself doing that a lot now, especially with stuff that I've learned over here. Just breaking out of training a specific type of way at the four and coming to Platinum Championship Wrestling and breaking out of some of the habits. And I'm like, what does he mean? And then seeing them beautifully explain it and help me as many times as I need, I'm like, okay, now it's little things. I find it the little
They
things.
matter.
They
Little
matter
things
so
matter
much.
the most. Like
So I feel like picking apart my movement or how I pivot or my reaction or like even a millisecond of my facial expressions, like every little thing.
slow it down, letting the moves matter. Let the moves like resonate with the crowd.
Hmm.
Those have been some things that we've been working on together, and I can't wait for y'all to see what we come up
You
with.
just made you make an old man smile. Let me tell you something. Um, when I hear you talk about the little things, I can't
Hmm.
begin to tell you when we're reviewing shows and we're looking at different independents and like we have a wide variety of things that we look at. We have different programs for different things. different companies want
Well,
us
we each
working
have
on
our
stuff,
own perspective on the business too, and what we
Well,
like and what we don't like, because we're fans just like we're workers. So it's not
Same.
like we all have our
Hey, we
own
got stuff that we
perspective. Yep.
one thing that I always make mention of is, John, how many times have I just said, oh, it's just the little things. It's the little
Mhm.
things.
It's
It's
those
those
details,
little
man.
details
Yeah.
that
and I'll
go ahead.
and we'll be up like 3 o'clock in the morning, like nitpicking the littlest details.
Sending each other
Even
things like
that match that I mentioned to you when you asked when it clicked,
Mhm.
we spent the entire week together, up every night until like 3 o'clock in the morning, rehearsing and going over the little smallest details and making sure that we had it locked down. And it ended up being
oh my
the
gosh.
best match of my
Y'all
career
should
so
definitely
far.
check that match out.
It's-
Because I also seen when we first started, where our wrestling style elevator, where we took pieces of like lucha and like grappling and just added into that match.
It sounds like
It's
a
one of my
match for
favorite.
Wrestling Request Live for sure.
That's what I was just about to say. Send me a link and we'll get it on one
That's
of our streams. No problem.
yep.
That's
I got it.
that's our bread and butter, brother. We love to dive into some good wrestling matches, and it's
Well,
just
that's how we find all you guys. Like
facts.
if it weren't for our rabbit hole dives into independence and our looking all over the place, we would have never run into guys like you. We would have never had the spotlight shows. We would never had the Inside the Indie show. We wouldn't have most of the stuff that we've got going on. And doing that rabbit hole, we found lots of really fucking cool things. For you guys, what do you find I guess the coolest shit about the industry right now? You guys have access to lots of different things going on inside wrestling. It isn't just the number of schools or the number of places you can get booked. You also have access to a lot of fans through social media, through live events, through all kinds of stuff. What are some of those moments for you guys coming up through the early years in your wrestling careers that stand out to you, where you had an interaction or you got to experience something with the fans or the fan base or the company in general that really stand out to you that made it like, nope, this is what I'm supposed to be doing?
I feel like honestly, going to different states and still getting that same reaction. These guys don't know me. Oh, they don't have to cheer for me. They don't see anything. So for me to be able to go and entertain them and to captivate them and to get an applause, that always to hear people chant my name is so weird to me. I'm like, oh my god, that's the when it clicks. Also, I was always a big Effy fan
Oh, I
before I
love
started
Effy.
wrestling. So I got booked at OWA like 2 years ago on the same show as Effie, and I was like, "There's no way." And Ali Catch, I met Ali Catch, sang Holla, and then she was like Kelly Kelly. I was like I marked out so bad. I don't work out for a lot of people, but Effie, I was like, okay. That's when I was just like, this is just weird to be able to go and love something and not knowing who you're touching, and for people to be like, I loved when you did this. You inspired me to do that. It's weird because I'm like, I'm here doing this to heal my inner child, and I'm helping other people.
Especially we're touching so many like smaller kids, and we're so like young, still like frankly new in the
Well,
business.
Like,
So,
let me give you a little bit of scary information. Something that should scare the shit out of you. You just said it. See where you're at right now, and you're talking about the lives that you're touching, the fans that you're making. Add 10 years to it right now. I don't want to message anybody,
ooh.
Surrey. Shut up.
Yeah, you add
You
10
think
years to where you are right now, and imagine the number of people that you've touched just this early in your career. You add that decade on, and how many more? How
I
many
got
more
2 more
people?
decades.
Well, I'm just.
Yeah,
It's really
maybe 3.
something. It's really something to sit back and really think about because it's a testament to what you guys are doing because you are generating the reaction, you are generating the fans, and you're touching people, all over and don't even realize it sometimes. Again, we were talking a little bit before we went off, before we came on the air. I'm very passionate about this, and I'm very uh, you know, Edward, like I shared with a DM with you, like I am an openly gay man, and knowing that there is, we talk about contrast in styles and contrast in times. When I was coming into the business and when I was starting in the business, and I don't condone this by any means, but openly gay athletes were were beat up. They've been kicked out of locker rooms. I've seen it happen. I've stood up and I've gotten punched in the face my damn self. Like, I have been there. And to see now how far we've come, and I say that wholeheartedly, that you guys touch more people than you even realize. Because it's one thing to be, a gay athlete, period. Something totally different to be out. And it's something totally different to be out in the South. And it's something totally different to be out in the South and in, Atlanta, Georgia, or in the surrounding areas. You have opportunities to touch people now that will look at you in 10 to 15 years down the road, and they're going to point at that and say, he did it, I can do it too. And it's something to me that it's it's almost hard to put into words. Like, I'm feel like I'm about to cry for a second. I don't do that, but it's so
Don't make
hard.
me cry, because I'll cry if you cry.
It's so
If you guys are all
hard.
balling, I'm probably tearing up too, and I don't think everybody
Y'all
needs to
gonna put
see
my
me
flames
blubbering.
out. I'm
Let's
the hot
not.
boy. I
Yeah.
gonna put my flames out.
You're gonna mess up my Botox, Chris. What's wrong with
I'm
you?
not trying to be a Debbie Downer, I promise, but it's just to see the representation that's out there today, not just in your neck of the woods, but all over.
I
It's
can definitely say that too. I can see that it's kind of being more accepted now. Like we in a locker
it's
room, everyone's like we're a brotherhood. Like we're here, we're in this together. So
it's good to see, and for you guys to kind of be on the forefront of this, because this is now, over the last 5 to 6 years, has become a much bigger movement than what it was. Now, it I believe, like, kind of socially acceptable in 2015 ish is about the time frame that I can remember. Kind of looking back and saying, "Oh, there's a shift happening." But here
mhm.
now, like, I've never seen it this way, and it's just one of those things that I'm passionate about it, because there are kids out there today that question themselves, that will always feel like they're not good enough, that will be told that you'll never amount to anything, that will be told that you just are you're not worth time or effort, and then you see where guys like you, guys like Rico Gonzalez, AC Mack was another one that was really stood out to me as a flag bearer to a degree. To see you guys out here not giving a fuck, number one, and starting this movement and taking it to a new level, it is a beautiful thing to see. And I just don't want you guys to look past the fact that there are more lives than you realize that you're touching. I'm sorry, that's my rant. I get one of those a show. I
So
just used
thank
it.
you.
I'm sorry. I feel like, honestly, it's been such a beautiful thing to feel embraced, because it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't always socially acceptable. Even like in my family, things that you will learn or you're grown to learn. Fighting that and finding yourself to be authentic in front of a crowd of audience weekly is like one of the scariest things to do, because I was 19 when I first started, and I wasn't. I mean, I was out, but I wasn't really, like, I was just like, damn, I'm
It's
living.
different to
But
be living your life privately and living your life publicly. It's
yeah,
a very
that's
different
totally
thing
what it was.
altogether.
But once I was here, I was like, hey, I mean, but also having people like you said, Rico Gonzalez,
Oh
AC
yeah,
Mack, Ashton
Rico
Starr,
is
Alex
amazing.
Kane, like
Mm-hmm.
queer individuals who have embraced me with so much love and positivity, telling me that I can trailblaze just like they are. It just inspires me, because I see them killing it, and I want to get like that. So it makes me happy to see, but it also is like, we're not just here. We have something to
We're
say.
all passionate about this. Like this is
Yeah.
gonna be a safe haven for everyone.
And I also love the difference of LGBTQ wrestlers, because there is a stigma of how we should portray. But I love that everyone's different. Like, you have Eden Monroe, you have Totally Plastic Finesse, you have Bo Bombshell, Ashton Starr, you have us, you have so many amazing performers like AC Mac and Rico Gonzalez, who are all different, who all bring something different to the table. So I feel like they can't really put us in a box anymore.
No, that box is has been kicked to the fucking curb. That
Oh
door's
yeah,
wide the fuck open, and it's not. We're not going back. It's just not going to happen. And I think that it's such an amazing thing to see. Knowing where when I got into the business where it was at to where it's at now, that is one of the most peaceful things, and to know that it's not going to change anytime soon, and that the opportunity is out there. And if anybody's listening to this, and someone's ever told you that you're not good enough, if someone has ever told you that you'll never amount to anything, or that you're wasting your time, or that you're whatever, I want you to look at them. And if you're over the age of 18, I want you to tell them to fuck off, because you are good
Fuck
enough.
off!
You are good enough. You are awesome the way that you are, and that there will always be somebody out there that you can talk to, and that you can reach out to. And if someone ever tells you that you can't do
Reach out to
something,
us.
there you go, right there on the
Know
screen,
your
guys.
value,
Right
know your
there.
value, know your worth,
Yes.
and stand
Over
on
there.
it.
Stand on that.
You can know your value, you can know your worth, and you can say you're gonna do this thing, but you have to stand on it. Like, I know I can do this. When you're passionate about something, nothing or no one can stop you.
Don't let anybody tell you anything. There were guys who told me, "Oh, go back to acting," or "You're only a character. You can only do this or that." And do you think I gave a fuck what they said? No, I made the best out of it. Well, it's just so beautiful. And even me being nominated, I came in here just doing this for me, but to be nominated even for
You're up for an award.
the QWI
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year, I'm like,
Saw
that's
it.
sick to be even nominated. It's so beautiful to see all these queer wrestlers killing it, to have something to be nominated for, because we do work, if not twice as hard than everybody else. Like, you have to fight to prove why you're on the card. You have to prove that you're not just here to do the gimmick match. Like, you're here to wrestle just like everyone else. So,
Hmm.
kudos to everyone doing their thing.
Yeah, no, congratulations on the nomination. I think, are we allowed to vote on that? Like, is this out to everybody? Like, they can go and vote for this?
Yeah, you can go vote on it.
Okay.
Oh, well, then follow the links, guys, because we'll have those
Well,
out
it'll
there.
be done by
got
the
it.
time this episode airs, but I will make sure I do my part when we get through recording.
Thank you.
I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about change, PCW, Nausea, the change shows that are happening. You had your first one last year, and second one's coming up in February. Which again, some of the stuff we talked about a little bit about off here. I knew that it was an important show, but I didn't realize how important until we talked to Dion Summers a couple of weeks ago, and heard the passion and his take on the entire event, and what it means. How so? I say this, and I don't want to ask the question the wrong way, because you know what? Fuck it. I don't care. I can
We're
never put,
transparent over here.
myself in your shoes, right? Like, I'm a white male, and again in the South, I can never understand or put myself to even begin to fathom some of the things that you guys have to deal with, not only because you're black, but also because you're gay. So my question is being on the forefront of this movement where we are now being accepted into the industry, number one. How does it make you feel to know that you are both on the cusp of two different areas, right? You're on the cusp of the LGBTQ plus community, and getting that aspect of it socially acceptable, but you're also, the change event is putting together some of the best black talent across Georgia that deserve to be seen, number one, and that deserve opportunity to be seen. How does it feel to be on the forefront of both of those kind of situations simultaneously? Because I'm not saying that professional wrestling is a white man's game, or a white man's industry. But to be in the South, and unless you live here, you don't know, and you'll never know, and you'll never understand what some of this stuff is like. To be on the cusp of that movement in two different areas, how does that make you guys feel?
I always want to represent my people in anything that I do. I didn't recognize the importance of it being so young and coming into this business. Like I said, I was 19, so I really wasn't. I was just doing this for me. Like, I wasn't thinking about what I was representing or who I could possibly be touching. I was just doing this because I like to do it.
And when you realize that you are touching those lights, it kind of makes the fire like it's hell flames now. You can't extinguish hell flames, so
It changes your perspective, because Obviously, we want to make both of our people proud, and identifying as a pansexual Black man, I feel like that it is important for everyone to be seen. We grew up seeing so many people being represented, but why not us? Why couldn't that be possible? But now I feel like it is possible. And like Aaron Rourke, who just got WWE ID'd, big, I mean, evil gay.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It just
absolutely.
shows that we have what it takes to get to the top, and that just put more fire under our asses to go out there and do what we need to do, so we can get that ID too. I mean, come on. I mean, that that just gave us more of a fire, so that gives us more fuel to represent both of our people and take it to the top. It just motivates us.
How
To get better our practice, definitely stand out. It's the biggest thing. You have to stand out.
So you won't be somebody's.
how how big do you think the event's going to be in February for Change 2?
I love the message behind it. I feel like Deion Summers, anything that he puts his mind into, he just pours so much love.
Such a good dude.
That man is
Because that man
the hardest working. He's
like-
like independent wrestler.
You have a lot of people who do stuff for like attention and like a cash grab, but I feel like anything that Deion Summers touches,
He's
passionate about it. And I feel like I love the message too, to be like included in the Law of Change pay-per-view. It was an honor because I did see guys from my past at A4 and going with guys from PCW. I just felt like a homecoming of like coming together, unity to build something that's bigger than all of us, honestly. And I really cannot wait for that in February.
What about you, Hot Boy?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
I said, what about
Tell me
you?
about you.
Give me from your
Same.
perspective.
I didn't wrestle in the last, but I kind of like worked it, so I seen like the big impact it made. Like it was like sold out. People were standing up by the door, and they had like promoters from like New York and things coming out. So their representation meant a lot. So it made me want to work harder. So I could be on this one coming up February. Seeing all the Black wrestlers from different promotions like coming together. I'm like,
Especially having talent from all different eras and all different generations. Like how Naja, Dion, and Demarie put together that whole thing. It's impressive. It was impressive. And it was impressive from a behind the scenes wrestler point. Like I feel like that was really cool to see how it built everything. And I feel like it was a beautiful thing. And I know it was the first time, so but I
get better.
was more prepared the second time, so it's gonna
It's only
probably
gonna
blow
get
everyone
better.
out.
Let me break. Well, you guys already know this. I will be at the Change 2 event, and I will be going to talk to.
Are you teaming with us?
Huh?
Huh? Are you teaming with us? You still got your gear?
I mean,
Man, if he climbs in the ring, I'm gonna drop kick him right off of the apron.
Come on, y'all.
I don't have any gear,
If he,
but
if he climbs in the ring,
I can
I am
tap
drop
that home
kicking
for
him
you.
right
It's-
off the
I can tap that
apron.
home
let me
for
tell you this: I don't have a whole lot of gear. I think I may have some boots left, but
Okay.
I can dust.
I got a
those
singlet for you.
I can dust those motherfuckers off, and if I need,
I got a singlet for you with some fire on it. You know,
if I need to even some odds, I don't mind doing that. I'd do that for you guys. Y'all are okay with me.
You're a real one.
I'm gonna get in touch with. I've already talked to Naja a little bit, but I will be up there for the weekend, and I think I'm gonna let it. I just want to dedicate my time. So whatever, like that weekend that goes on for that, I just want to be a part of it and be able to help out wherever I can help out. If that's setting up the ring, if that's setting up and tearing down, and whatever. I don't give a shit. I just want to help. I want to be a part of it because not only do you guys deserve it, you've earned it, and you deserve your flowers, and you deserve the opportunity to be seen by as many people that can see you, and that's just my personal view and opinion on it, and I feel that way about a lot of the independent talent that's out there. The beautiful thing about what we do is we're able to discover people that we haven't seen before. And over the course of the year, being introduced to Edward's work has lent me a little bit into your work, Hot Boy, and that's like it's like, not only are we seeing you, we're seeing who you're in the ring with, we're seeing your opponents. So
right?
I'm getting
It's a domino effect.
there. You go.
It is.
And
And our dive into the indies really is like that too, because we'll watch a promotion on Monday and we'll see 10 or 12 guys on there, and we'll take a look at 2 of them throughout the week, and there's still 8 more guys on the card. But now we're looking at the whole promotion, and oh wait, we looked at that guy on a spotlight, so now he's in these other 2 feds, and now we've got these whole rosters to look at. And it's just it unravels so fast. It's so big, and there's so much going on everywhere all the time. How do you guys go about getting your like when you decide what your schedule looks like? What does your booking sheet look like? Are you working all the time? Is this what you're doing constantly? Do you want it to be like that? Like, what are your goals coming up, and how many bookings do you try to get in a month? What's your schedule look like, and how do you fit it all together?
So originally, when I came to Platinum, I wasn't interested in bookings yet. I knew I had stuff to fix, and I feel like first impressions are everything. So I knew I wasn't ready, and I didn't want to just hop into shows just because I could and just because I wanted to exposure. I was really dedicated to perfecting my craft, so I actually took like this year off just to focus on training, getting better, solidifying myself, getting the gear and the presentation that I want.
It's
And now I
definitely
feel
paid
like
off.
it's time to start filling out that calendar and start traveling and getting back to how I used to.
Well, what do you want that to look like for you? Like on your monthly, how many shows do you want to hit? How many places do you want to get to? What do you want out of it?
As many as possible. And there comes when we start showing these people Flawless Flame are, I want every day of that week to be busy. I want every day of that week to be busy. We want to take this everywhere, any continent, any competitor, any school, any promotion.
Different planet. We go to different planet.
Okay.
And still be hot.
The first ever. You know, everybody wants to be like those. They're going to try to copy that too.
Exactly.
I mean, hey, get out your boys. We're going to take this everywhere we can. It's going to be a flawless takeover.
But we are definitely planning like to do more like road trip bookings, like out of state, and just experience more together of the independent scenes in different states, different areas.
Also, in terms of like branding, period, red carpets, magazines, interviews, we got some with you. You know, we got Shaw coming out. We got a whole layout coming. Like they're not ready. We're trying to show people how to also become a brand and not just.
Yeah, I was about to say, you guys are
wrestlers.
becoming a business, not just wrestlers.
it's
You guys
really
have
a
all kinds of
brand.
stuff going on.
You have to brand yourself, literally.
What do you think
Hang on, John. Real quick.
Go ahead.
One thing that I found very commendable, and this is going to catch Edward by surprise because I hadn't even mentioned this to you before. When we sat down and we did a Beyond the Bell, we did a live show, and it was your first show with us, and we had the opportunity to have so many of you guys on, and it turned into a schmoz, and it was fucking hilarious when I got off the air. I was just like, what the hell just happened here? What we just got took. We just got took. We just got worked hard. God damn, I forgot my question. I don't know where I was now. I can't remember where I was going. John, go ahead. I'll edit that out.
Sure, no problem.
I was going somewhere.
With that being said about your schedulings and how you want to fill out your schedule and what you want to do with it, what else are you guys, and you're building other businesses, you want to put branding together. What would you guys say is the biggest thing for you going forward? Like, yes, you're building a brand. Yes, you want to get your bookings together, but how can other people also like diversify that revenue flow and try to find different ways to get something out of the business that they're putting so much into? What have you guys found as good ways to do that for you that maybe you're looking forward to doing in the future?
Merch.
Sexiest merch. We're not gonna have those big bulky ass black shirts with that fat black square. That's not cute. Our merch is gonna be flawless.
Mixtape cover.
Like, okay, like come on, guys. It's time for sexy merch for any gender, anybody. Baby, we got you. Get your dog a sweater. Come on, flawless flame. And it's not just any merch. It's gonna be
Merch that sell.
okay. But look, also, we look forward to, traveling. Like I said, we do a lot of social media content and digital marketing for ourselves. I feel like a lot of people really overlook that.
Alana and Mike, they work in production here at PCW, and they do an amazing job keeping us branded with photos, with promo videos. It looks like freaking TV show, the quality that we have here.
Alana is a magician with that camera. Like, she makes us look. I know y'all see those pictures.
Have you thought about while you're building all of that branding, really pushing into it and doing travel vlogging and like behind the scenes documentary things?
Yes, we have so much I promise you.
I thought about doing that even when I was competing in like my jiu-jitsu competition. So that
Bro.
is something that I definitely want to utilize because YouTube is right there,
There's an
TikTok,
audience for
Mhm.
everything, dude. An
and
audience for
also
everything.
I think what makes it cool too with bringing with me, I'm a big anime nerd. So I use my TikTok mostly for wrestling content. I posted a video of me trying out it's an anime restaurant called Man Before here in Georgia, a Dragon
Mhm.
Ball Z thing. It went almost 1 million
We
views, and
have
I'm like,
Super
wait,
Noodles here in Jacksonville is the same thing. It's a Dragon Ball
someone
Z ramen
commented,
shop.
someone commented me to go try their place. So
It's amazing. You should.
right now, social media is the biggest tool right now. So you can
Mhm.
branch off in many different venues and earn that revenue while like
Well,
wrestling. Yeah.
we just had a show with Deion Summers again, and he was talking about kind of the same thing where you find these niches of things that you don't expect to cross over at all. And he would get into Dragon Ball tournaments and playing the Dragon Ball video games. And he started
I'm
a
sorry.
streaming career about it. Right? Yeah, well, it is what it is. But he started his own streaming channels, and he's been finding new outlets with fans. It's something that you had said. You know, you're a big anime nerd, and then the travel vlogs and the going to different ramen spots or going to different anime themed places. We just opened up a Japanese like a loot crate shop with all of the cuisine and all the drinks and all the stuff here in town. You could do those too. There's
If I
lots
hit
of
you up,
things.
if I'm in town, like come try this restaurant with me.
We're in 100%.
I'm always down for food.
I also try to because I work in ABA also, so I've been working with autistic children for 6 years in August. So I also try to like broadcast and like spread awareness to that also because I feel like it's still as aware as it should be. So I kind of use my brand to spread awareness to autism too.
We'll need the links for all that stuff.
Yep, we can put it all in the video description down below,
Mhm.
ladies and gentlemen. Down, just go down and read. It's right there.
They're all down there. Go follow them. Awareness is important.
Let's talk a little bit about the future and what 2025 could look like for you guys. You know, you want to travel, you want to get out there, you want to get your brand out there.
But where?
But where exactly? Give me some locations that you would like to,
Or some talent that you've got eyeballs
there you go,
on.
or
Or
Well, hold on. Are you fine? Are you trying to? Did one of our ops hire you? Look, I know everybody
No.
wants to know.
it's not the
where
ops,
ball
baby. We
is
trying to
going.
get you
But
booked. You said
but
you
if we
wanted
were
to fill
to
your
tell
schedule in, so let's get it. Let's get that schedule filled. Where you want to
If
go?
we were to tell you, then we would have to kill you because that would be no surprise. You never know where we're gonna pop up. I mean, we'll go anywhere.
No, you
Canada, Europe, Japan, Mexico.
I'm going to manifest that you will see the flawless flame has been like taught by WWE ID. So
Well, let's talk
know.
about ID for a second, since we can't get any hard facts
Mhm.
out of where you'd like to go. But maybe maybe we'll see some flawless flame action in reality of wrestling.
And definitely, and we accept any challenge. Anybody they want, send any of their boys get on the mic with us.
Mm.
Put that ID on the line. What's up? Get in the booth. What's
I
up?
said get in the booth.
We don't just talk. We don't just talk. Like he said, this is a world competitor.
Yeah.
We're about that action.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah.
talking.
Exactly.
Come on, we're ready.
Exactly.
We look forward to it.
What's your take on WWE ID and the whole program thus far as they've been rolling it out? Because as we've talked to several different people again all over the world. We were chatting with a gentleman from Australia not too long ago, and we asked him the same question. Like, with this being a global thing with WWE, and there's mixed feelings about it depending on who you talk to. Some people like it, some people don't. It's just it's kind of depends on what your view and your take on it is. When you see this announcement come out, like this is now a thing, we're going to start. Go ahead.
it caused an uproar when I seen that announcement. Oh my gosh, the wrestling world went bonkers. Some people were against it, some people were for it, but it's like I kind of sat back and kind of let it die down. And then like some people were like they're forcing people to choose one place to go to, and there's many other promotions. But like
It's not, and I feel like
Well, what
a lot of people.
Yeah, what do you think
I
about
feel
it?
like a
We
lot
are
of people-
seeing the dichotomy of that right here on the screen with these two. They both feel a different way about it.
No. We feel the same way. We feel the same way. I feel like as though it's an amazing opportunity for people who want a direct shot. They know that this program is for them. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of wrestlers who I know who don't even want to go to the WWE. That's not their journey, and that's fine. Nobody's forcing you to choose that route. And I feel like a lot of people probably won't choose the route, and a lot of us will. You can't fault someone for wanting to take an opportunity that they've been dreaming about for years. So I feel like if it show exposure to the indies and the talent that we have through here, and to go make an impact and change probably in a couple generations of WWE, you don't know what the future holds.
And ultimately, there's like so much like great promotions out there, TNA, like AEW,
Yeah.
Japan, but realistically, we already know what's the goal that people will shoot for, the place will shoot
Well,
for.
see, that's the kind of again the beautiful thing about professional wrestling today. You don't have to go to the WWE.
You have an option. You have options
more,
now.
and with the independent scene, and this is call it my delusional optimism, but it's been on fire for easy 6, 7 years. It's only gotten bigger every year, which wrestling has its waves. It's always had its waves. Its ebbs and its flows. It's had its high points. It's had its low points. I mean, goddamn, we all remember 1992 if you were born and you were on the earth and watching professional wrestling. That was the worst fucking years of professional wrestling. Was 92 to 95. Like, I don't give a fuck. Anybody argue with me? Right there at Fireside Page. It was the worst time for professional wrestling. But there's not been a decline since it started to incline and start moving up, which makes me think that we're just getting started. And what I mean by that is that the more the industry booms, the more reputable companies come out there, and that more reputable companies will be made. You will have more places to work, and it's call me fucking crazy, but if you're working 10, 12, 14 days a month on the independent circuit, and you're talking Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're traveling on Wednesdays probably. Depending on if you got a close booking on that Thursday, you don't need to go to the WWE to develop a following and to develop a living on the independent scene. And we're not even talking international. Now, international, that's a whole nother conversation, because it's more money, it's limited opportunity, but there's a lot to it. There's a little bit there. It's very interesting to see that is not. You don't necessarily have to go that route to be successful and to get that money. Like, I mean, let's just put it the way it is. If you want to get out there and work, you're going to make it.
Exactly.
John, what do you got?
Well, on that note, what do you guys think is the biggest opportunity for our industry? And I've asked a few people this, and it's always an interesting answer because there's a broad range of them. But in the industry as a whole, not just as wrestlers, not just as promoters, not just as fans, but the industry in general, what do you think our biggest opportunity to continue that upward trend and to build our industry right now in the next 5 to 10 years is for us to really embrace? What do you think the opportunity is, and how do you think we get there faster? They both sat back to think. I know.
One more time.
Sure.
Not just balls in the background. So,
not just the fans, not just the promoters, not just the companies in the industry, but as a whole. What do you think are biggest opportunities for promoting this growth of industry that the independents especially are seeing? And how do we continue that upward trend? What do we have to focus on to make sure that we continue in this upward movement?
I feel like, honestly, it's just showcasing new talent and different possibilities. And talents coming from so many different backgrounds can shine a light on professional wrestling. And it just doesn't have to be one way. It doesn't have to be what it was back then. And it doesn't have to be anyone's idea of wrestling. I feel like when we collaborate with everyone's ideas, it makes it special. Because wrestling for a long time was just the same type of guys. But I feel like everyone has an opportunity to be marketed and valued in wrestling. I find that beautiful. Every wrestler is different now.
Finding something that's relatable. Like I said, I have the anime and the jujitsu and the ABA. So people that resonate with this, we want to see more because we connect in those different aspects. Like, the people didn't bring different things.
I honestly feel like the independence is going to be very mainstream in a couple of weeks. I feel like it's
Well, I
already
mean,
starting
we're already
now.
seeing that
yeah.
It's
happen.
already
You have major independent companies now that are maybe they don't have the big TV contracts that the major mainstream companies have.
Yeah.
But they have just as much or more internet following as the mainstream companies do.
And I feel like soon it's going to be hard to see what is independent because of how popular everything's going to be. So
When-
what?
That
I thought
makes
that's
me
gonna be
happy because I was, like you mentioned earlier, there are guys that you know that was never their intention. They didn't ever want to run straight to the WWE. And for me, that was never my goal either. I always wanted to build my own pocket, build my own ship, and sail the fucker off into the sunset. And I think now we actually have opportunities for people to actually do that. Whereas 20 years ago, if you weren't on the mainstream show, you didn't make the money, you didn't have longevity. And I think what we've got going on now, especially on the independent circuit, in the territories like Georgia, like you have a lot of companies around you that are working opposite shows and scheduling around events so that you have the opportunity to travel and do those things. And I think that those aspects of what is building on the industry is what is making them as mainstream as they are, because we have new access and you guys are utilizing things like social media and internet marketing and branding opportunities to really spread your name and put it out there. And I think that you guys are doing things like that, and that's what's building it. And I think you're right about that entirely.
Thank you.
Let me get some dream opponents for you guys. Some people that you'd like if you had the opportunity.
Either singles or tags.
Yeah, if you had the opportunity to get somebody in the ring in 2025, who would it be? Give me a couple of names. Tag. Yeah, John said
The
singles.
Creed brothers. I feel like we would put on a really good match with the Creed brothers. That would be so much fun.
Mhm.
Also on the independent, Jay Tyler and Travis.
We're coming for them.
McClellan.
Just know we're coming.
I like those boys.
Y'all been touting the hottest tag team.
Effy and Ali just broke up. Oh, it's like Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez.
Dagger in the heart.
You know, also that's honestly a dream match.
The Street Profits.
The Street Profits.
It's like a matchup.
Oh,
We have the high flying athleticism. Then you have the strength and the agility, like you with Hawkins. So Street Profits. Who else?
I love The Miz. That's my favorite wrestler of all time. Like,
well, he's awesome.
Just seeing a man. He's one of my only few men that I study for character with. And I'm like, it feels like something that's not. I can use that I won't take too much from. But I can use it to help me get better. But I love that man so much. And if I could, tomorrow I'd be wrestling Kelly.
Oh my God.
Tomorrow I'd be wrestling Kelly.
Carmelo.
She would go over.
Carmelo Hayes is my dream opponent for singles. Carmelo Hayes, because we're such a reflection of speed and agility. So I'm manifesting that.
And if we had like a 20-year time machine, or even now, the Brothers of Destruction. Come on.
Oh.
I feel like we got a better chance right now.
Right now, your face, hot boy, your face is the same one. I was like, oh,
from 7 feet tall.
No. I was like, oh, you.
I mean,
you
and Chris and John, if y'all ever want to tag up.
I mean, stranger things have happened. John, we ain't never tagged.
And make it double.
That's a podcast special.
Okay. Come on. We'll figure it out. We'll make that happen. Don't threaten me with a good time. I know that there's a lot of moving parts with both of you guys, and I know that time is very precious. It's valuable, and you guys are in a training facility, so I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. But do you want to know on the way out here if you had one thing that when it comes to Georgia, because right now that's where your home base is. You got a lot happening there. What would be your one thing for Georgia involving with professional wrestling to evolve it to the next level, to take it to the next level? Because, and I say that because, and I ask that because there's a lot of feds in Georgia, and in the state, like, if you could level it up, how would you do it to bring everyone kind of more together versus people maybe segregating off or not being participating, et cetera, et cetera? How would you build the state to that next level? What do you think you could do, or or as a
I
community?
would I would also like less competition, more collaboration. That's one thing. I feel like Georgia has some of the best vets in the game. I feel like we could learn so much from the Georgia vets, but I also feel like we need these new guys to kind of push the envelope with the knowledge that we have from the older guys. So I feel like if we could find that balance in the mix, I feel like it would be so much more special. Also, I feel like getting out of the way of what things were
Right.
and seeing where we are, we're in a different time.
Times are different,
what's-
things are harder, so just everyone just empathize with each other, like more empathy towards each other. Like things are just we're in a different economy, like you say, we're in a different era, and things are different. So all come together to get that mutual understanding.
And I think those answers are good for just life in general, not just wrestling. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
the sound of all of that.
We apply everything we apply to life into wrestling. This is our life.
This is
This is our life. This is everything we wake up thinking about and when we go to sleep dreaming about. This is our life, and we want to leave it better than we found it. So that's basically where we're at right now, seeing how we can improve with ourselves and how we can improve anything around us.
My blonde moment has passed. 20 minutes later, I remember where I was going with something earlier.
I was waiting on that.
It came back. It just, too many chair shots. Something that was commendable, Edward, and it again puts you on the spot 'cause you don't know I'm saying this, is the fact that when we set up to do the show, one of the first questions from you to me, as I said, hey, I say we'd love to have you back. I circled back around. You got back with me, and one of the first things you says, hey, can I have Hot Boy on with me? And I think what's commendable about that is you are not just thinking about yourself. And sitting down and talking with us, it could easily be, it could have been a one-person thing, could have been a two-person thing. We've talked to 37 pieces of talent
Something
from all
like
over
that.
the world. You were only the second to say, hey, is it okay if I include someone else? And I say that's very commendable because it's a very selfless and non-selfish approach, and it's also getting Hot Boy introduced to our audience as well. And I want to say thank you for that, because it's easy to, yeah, man, I'll do your show, but it's something totally different to be like, yeah, man, I'd love to do it, but can I have my boy on with me too? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just you don't see that often, and I wanted to at least acknowledge the fact that you. But then one of the first questions back was, yeah, man, I'd love to do it. I'd love to circle back around and make it happen. But hey, can I have my man on with me? Can I have my partner, my tag team partner? And I want to say
The
thank you for
generosity
that.
is noticed and appreciated.
But like we said earlier, without him, I wouldn't be here right now.
Vice versa.
So it's kind of, I don't look at it like that. I look at it as more of knowing and being around people who see everything as competition, and people wanting to compete with you. So like uplifting one of my best friends and us doing it together and going through this journey together. And if I could do anything that'll help put me on, I'm gonna definitely try to put my boy on, because we're in this together. We all we got.
I appreciate that.
I value those relationships. I value those relationships because I feel like wrestlers, I've seen this a lot. Wrestlers like share other wrestlers who are famous, who already signed or who already got their money posts, but they can't share their friends' posts. And those are like parasocial relationships. But this is a real relationship in my life that I value, and I really value my relationship. So it was just like we're here tagging together, trying to shine a new light on the new generation of Platinum Championship Wrestling. So I couldn't think of anybody better than to do it with.
I couldn't think of a better tag team to have on for our first tag team guest on
Thank
Beyond the
you. Thank
Bell. Man, this you guys are fucking awesome. I've had a good time sitting down and chatting with you, and we usually leave a little bit of meat on the bone to circle back around on later on down the line.
Then we can have a round two.
If you two gentlemen want to come back on down the line, let's catch up in 5 or 6 months or so.
you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
My bad. My bad.
It's training time. It's training time. We know.
But if you want to circle back around, we're more than welcome to. We'd love to have you guys back on. I know that, again, time is valuable. It's precious. We did get a little bit of a late start, but I want to thank you both for sitting down and chatting with us and just being candid and talking to us from your perspective on what you're seeing in the industry up there. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you both in February.
Ready to meet you.
In person. We'll have the hubs. He'll be in tow. He'll probably be in the back holding up the wall, but he'll be there. But
There's a bar next door. There's a bar next door too. So after party.
Oh, I'll just send him there. He'll be fine.
I'm at to bring y'all to Louisiana so we can have a parade in the second line out there. And some
no.
gumbo
So
and beignets.
Hey, I'm in on the beignets. Hold up.
Yes, yes.
I just, I don't mind going back down to Louisiana as long as we're not on Bourbon Street because I'm not sure I'm allowed there anymore. That's
That's a story for a different show, sir.
No one's allowed anymore.
That's a story for a different show.
Abridged version is I traveled Alabama. I wrestled a little bit in Louisiana. I didn't wrestle a whole lot there. But one of my trips was not too far off Bourbon Street. I may or may not have hit a cop, and may not have had to go behind bars and hang out for a minute for it. Not too long, but enough
That's norm.
to learn that I
That's
don't.
Who that cop?
It's like a Tuesday at Bourbon Street.
I
It's
don't.
fine.
Hey,
That's a normal
that-
Tuesday
that
on
didn't-
Bourbon.
That didn't happen to me often, and it's only happened to me once, thankfully. But I don't know if I want to go back to Bourbon Street because it just
Oh
brings
my
back
god.
bad memories of hand grenades and scantily clad women.
Fish bowls.
John, you want to ask? You got anything else to ask him before we let him go for the evening?
I have a billion things to ask him. The one thing that I do want to ask before we go, do you guys have anything that you've got upcoming or want to promote out to our fans here that's coming up soon? Do you have anything specific other than in February we've got change? But between now and then, what do we look forward to with your tag team, with you individually? What can the fans look for with you guys coming up?
Well, I'm giving Jay Alpha another his rematch since he's still, like I said, obsessed with me. Remember when I told you I was going to beat him? Remember I said that? And
I
did
totally meant to ask you, how did it feel to punch him in the face?
It felt orgasmic.
Well,
To slap him in
that's a
his face.
sensational
And
feeling.
it's going to feel even more orgasmic. And after that, I hear TNA's in town.
Yeah,
Soon.
TNA. So y'all should be paying attention to TNA. You feel?
Little pit stop.
Hints taken. I can read between the lines. And congratulations
Right.
if that's the case. We'd be happy to see you there. It's been great. You guys got anything you want to say to our people before we let you go?
Stay flawless. Know your worth, and then do what with it?
Stand on it, stomp on it, just
Do something with it.
10 toes, baby.
You
10
don't believe in
toes.
you, nobody else will. Get you a real one to go through this crazy stuff with,
Team Rocket. Everyone needs Team Rocket. Justina James.
and stay safe and stay hot.
Guys, it has been a pleasure. If you've paid attention or you've hung out this long in the episode and you're not following them on social media, shame on you because it's been on the screen the entire show. So I'm going to need for you guys to go ahead and make that happen. You can see it right there on the screen. Or if you just go down below, you can check the links for all things Hot Boy, all things Edward Draven. We'll have the links to their socials. We'll have links to everything down there. Follow. The easiest thing that you can do as a fan or even as a performer of independent wrestling is like, follow, and share. It is free. It costs you nothing. You can do it. You can show your support. It's the easiest way to do it. It's the only way to really do it in modern day and modern era is to share their stuff. Go to the live shows. Check them out. Buy their merch when that comes out. When we get that, do we have a link for that, or is that coming up?
I hear you.
Do you have a link for merch, or is that coming up? I just want to make sure.
It's coming up.
Okay.
Very soon.
All right. Well, whenever it
We'll
does,
keep an eye out for that. We will definitely be sharing
We're
that
gonna be
out.
sending y'all some headbands and some shirts too.
You
Some flawless
send,
flame.
you
shirts.
send me the link.
We have flawless flame temporary tramp stamps. As well.
Oh, that is. I'm in. I'm sold. I'm sold. That's it. We're not beating that. John, man, go ahead and take us home.
Guys, it's been a pleasure to have you on with us. We appreciate the minutes that you've spent with us. We know, like we've said, time is very valuable. We all have some to share. And I'm glad that you guys decided to share some with us. I'm super happy that you guys were on the show, and I know that our audience is as well. This is going to be very well received, and I'm glad that you guys got to spend a little bit of time with us. I am looking forward to getting you back on the show because there is lots of other things to pick apart. Lots of things, especially with you guys got things coming up in December. We've got things coming up in February. We've got branding stuff coming out. We've got all kinds of things going on with you. So we're going to touch base with you in a while, not too long. We're going to let you marinate on some things, and we're going to need to get you back on the show to touch base.
We got to get back
again.
high.
For sure. But, guys, if you haven't watched us this far, don't forget those Savage Elbows. Go right there on that ding bell so you never miss a beat what we got going on behind the curtain. We've always got new guests, new stuff, new shows, and things coming down the pipeline for each and every one of you. We're glad that you get to share our passion with industry with us as we get to share our passion with you too. Guys and gals, as always, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. We love each and every one of your faces. Guys and gals, it'll be next time.
Thank you.